Welcome to Miss Demke's fitness class. We are adding to our fitness unit in incorporating different elements and different types of workouts for our fitness plan. Today, we will be discussing something that's highly efficient in burning calories, working out your muscles, and working out your heart all in the same workout, because sometimes we get really busy in our lives. And so this is a version of a workout that you can do in home without weights, but it's still very effective and very good for your body. The topic that we will be discussing today is HIIT, high intensity interval training. I want to first discuss, however, what intense means to you. So let me give you an example. Think about a flavor that's intense to you, something that's really strong in your mouth. So think about a food that's intense, an intense experience. What do you experience with that? How else would you describe an intense flavor? I'll give you an example. And I want you guys to be taking notes, and this is part of your activity for today. Go ahead and fill in your response to the attached PDF for today's class. What intense food is to you? For me, an intense flavor food is lemon cream pie. I love lemon. It's very, very strong flavor in my mouth. It's very sour. It puckers my lips. And lemon cream pie happens to also be very sweet. So for me, eating lemon cream pie is a very intense experience in my mouth. You could have thought of something spicy, something very bitter, or something even very sweet. So there's a lot of different types of intense. Well, let's think of the opposite of intense. If intense flavor is strong, spicy, it makes you want to cry if it's a spicy one, then the opposite of intense would probably be mild, weak, or just understated. There's different types of intensity levels. So what does intense effort look like? You're going at something very strong. You are very passionate about it. You give it your all. Your heart rate is increased. You give it your entire effort. Intense effort. So we're going to translate this high intensity or this intenseness into our workout. So let me give you a couple of examples. Go ahead and stand up so that you will be participating with me during this exercise. So go ahead and stand up. Make sure you still have access to this video. And we are going to go through what high intensity doesn't look like, and then what high intensity does look like as far as exercise. First, we're going to look at walking. Okay, so let's just walk in place. What kind of intensity is walking? And why? So go ahead and answer on your sheet what you think walking, what intensity level. Is it a low intensity? Is it a medium intensity? Or is it high intensity? And why? Think about why it's considered one of those categories. Okay? So I'm just going to keep walking. Go ahead and we'll stop so you can put in your answer. Pause the video if you need more time to answer this on your paper. So what kind of intensity is walking and why? Go ahead and pause the video right now if you need more time. I'm going to continue. Next, we have jogging. So let's go ahead, stand up, make sure you're jogging in place so you can feel what it feels like to you. Jogging. What kind of intensity is jogging? Low, medium, or high? And tell me why you think which it's one of those categories. Okay. going to stop. We'll give you a moment to go ahead, sit down, and answer that question. Pause the video here if you need more time, so that way we can continue. Next, we're going to do, make sure you're standing up, we're going to do our knee to hand. Ready and go. Is this low, medium, or high? And tell me why. All right, go ahead, take a moment and answer that question. And go ahead and pause the video at this time if you need more time to respond. I'll provide the answers at the end of the video. So we're going to continue on with that. So we are looking at HIIT, is what it's called. HIIT. It's not fit, FITT, HIIT. So let's look at what this stands for. That one doesn't show up very clear. Let's see. We can see this one. HIIT. So we already did high intensity. Intensity meaning strong. High means just higher level. You know, it's a level of the type of intensity. Next, we're going to look at the next I. What does the next I stand for? It stands for interval. And let's break down that word, what interval means. So let's look at can't decide. The part of interval. Think of what the prefix inter means. It's kind of between something. So if it's between something, you have a stop, a start, and here's your interval. You have a start, a stop, here's your next interval. Kind of looks like happy faces. So we have a start and a stop. And then there's this space in between, start, stop, space in between, start, and stop. So you have these different segments, and then you have something in between those segments. For high intensity interval, last part is training, because this is a type of workout regimen. So training is the last portion. Interval training means that you start an exercise until you reach high intensity, until your heart is ready to explode, okay? So you're doing a high intensity exercise, it's called bout, B-O-U-T. A bout exercise. And what that means is it's just a segment. It's another term for segment. So you're giving a bout of exercise. So you're doing a exercise till your heart is just at its limit, or your muscles reach to that level, and then you take a break. You pause. You allow your heart rate to lower itself down, and once it's lower, which can take anywhere between a minute or two, then you start on that bout of intensity a second time, and you go through this cycle for about 30 minutes. Your typical HIIT exercise workout is a 30-minute workout, but there's a lot of ways that you can translate this, and this will be part of your activity for today, and explaining to me what it looks like if you were to do this in running. How would you do this in weightlifting? How would you apply the principles of HIIT to different types of exercises? So at this time, please stand up again. We are going to go through 2 bouts or 2 intervals of what HIIT looks like. So we're going to be doing 2 different exercises for this segment. So make sure you have on your shoes to give you support for your feet and some area around you to be able to complete this exercise so you don't get injured. Okay, so we are first going to do some knee kicks. So this is where we're going to kick our feet to where it hits our butt. Okay, and we're going to do it high intensity. So that doesn't mean we're walking like this. We're going to be increasing the speed to get it into that high mode. So, ready? And you do it until your heart rate's just so high or your muscles are really burning. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin. Make sure you increase your speed to make sure it's high. We're going to do this for about a minute. Okay, I can really start to feel the burn. My heart rate is going up. I'm going to pause. Okay, so we just did 1 bout of high intensity. What happens next? Our next step in our interval training is a rest period. Rest period takes different forms for different exercise routines. One way is to just cease the activity. You stop, like I'm doing right now, and you give yourself 1 minute to 2 minutes to catch your breath, let your heart rate restabilize, and then you do a second bout. Another form of a rest period is actually just lowering the intensity level. So instead of being high, then you drop it to low intensity. So an alternative to just standing in place, I'm going to keep my muscles moving. I'm going to do the same exercise, but at a slower pace. So let's say you're running a mile. You're not just going to sprint real fast and then stop and stand there and wait until your heart rate picks back up. You're going to sprint, and then when it comes to your rest period, you're going to either jog or walk. It all depends up to you what you want to be doing. Okay, so, all right. My heart rate is back down to a normalized level. We're not looking at resting heart rate, so don't completely just sit down and think you can pick up this workout. We need to make sure our heart rate still stays up to our active mode so that we're still burning our calories and working our muscles. Next, this one's going to require jumping, so make sure that when you're landing, that you give yourself, you're landing gently on your toes and not really hard on the back of your feet. So when you're jumping, make sure we're doing a squat, so proper form, butt out, knees down, so it doesn't go over your toes. And when you land, make sure you're landing softly so it doesn't give too much impact on your knees. So we're just going to do squats and jump, almost like a burpee, but instead of doing a full push-up, we're just doing squats, okay? So at this time, I'm going to demonstrate real quick what it should look like. You're going to jump and land. So you're going to do squat, jump, and land. All right? So ready? And let's begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I can feel the burn. All right. Heart rate is up. I feel the burn. I'm going to rest. Now, I'm not going to be doing a slow version of the squat and jump. There's just no low intensity to that. So I'm just going to walk in place. So I stay moving, or you can stand to allow your heart to normalize. In a 30-minute workout, you'd be doing multiple exercises, and then you would be doing your bout, rest, bout, rest. Like I said, you're only resting sometimes 30 seconds, but usually between a minute to 2 minutes before you start your second bout. So this could be anywhere between 10 different workouts or 10 different bouts and then a rest period. It just all depends on your body, what the type of the exercise is, to see how fast it increases your heart rate. So I hope this was helpful to you. Pardon me while I catch my breath. Like I said, we have an activity. So when this video is over, please go back, look at your paper, and tell me how you would apply the principles of high intensity interval training, what it would look like for running, and what it would look like for weightlifting. So give me some examples and just tell me how it goes. I will provide you one example though, because it's not in your activity. Swimming. If I were to do a high intensity interval training for swimming, I would probably, that exercise really got me. I'd probably swim the fastest and hardest I could from one end of the pool to the next. And then on my way return back, I'd probably lay on my back and do a gentle swim back. Once I got back to that beginning part, I would probably swim the hardest I could and fastest I could to one end of the pool. And then on my return, I would lay on my back and do a nice, relaxed swim on my back. So that's what swimming would be. If you want, that's an example. Hopefully that was helpful. And if you have any questions, please respond on our Google Classroom platform and let me know if you have any feedback. Hopefully you enjoyed this workout.